So let's see if we can take some questions. What do we have? Ken asks, what is the frequency that is used for 99 simplex on DMR? Yeah, that's a good question. I am actually not familiar with that. Maybe if any of you folks know in the chat what the answer to that is, what the 99 simplex on DMR is, that would be interesting. I'd be curious to know that. We can definitely, one of our techs could get you that information if no one here knows. I'm just personally not super familiar with that. But awesome, great question. Let's see, here's another one. If my local DMR repeater has no TS or, okay. Assume you mean no time slot. Not entirely sure what you're asking here. So if it doesn't have a time slot listed, that's my best guess of what you're asking. In that case, you could pick one, you could try it, or you could get in contact with whoever the repeater system is, the owners of that, or the club, or whatever it is, and see if they can point you in the right direction for it. Or if you really want to, find out, you could actually put your radio and digital monitor and listen on both talk groups and find out which one people are actually using. So a few different options there for you, but definitely possible. There we go, WB2DX. Cody needs a raise. Awesome, here we go, N0RG, Ken Heron. So you can actually attach more than one talk group at the same time. Absolutely. Yeah, so you can have multiple talk groups in your radio. There's only going to be one attached to one channel, but you can create multiple channels for different talk groups, all on that same repeater. So if you have a lot of repeaters in your radio, there is another way to select a talk group. You can just hold down the 0 button right here and actually punch in, you press the pound key, but you'll punch in that talk group number just like that and key it up. That's one way to select your talk group. If you have a lot of repeaters, but if you mainly just work with a couple, you can actually just create those channels so you can scroll your channel knob through the talk group. So absolutely. Let's see, John, W9YCD. Has anyone been able to access the show notes? Yeah, so the show notes should be available. If they're not, we can certainly get them to you. Hopefully they're available in the chat there, in the description. They should be available for you folks, but if not, we'll definitely put them up afterwards. Awesome. Let's see. Ken, how do you add 4000 to a hotkey? That is a great question. Yeah, so if I can actually should be able to show you that here real quick. So there, what he's referring to there is the talk group disconnect on the radio. So what we did here is basically we can rotate to that disconnect we installed and key that up, and that will allow us to disconnect from whatever talk group we're on. Now, if you have a lot of stuff programmed in your radio, that can be a little bit inconvenient having to go back and find it before you can disconnect. So what you can actually do is program up a hotkey. So you simply hit a button, click that PTT, and it actually disconnects for you. So let me show you how that would work. There we go, we'll sign in the computer here. Awesome, so let's open up the CPS. See if we have a code plug open here that has that set up already. It's pretty simple, but I'll show you how it works. And make sure you're using the latest version of everything, CPS-wise. We have run into some troubles with it. Wait for this to boot up here. Awesome, here we go. Let's see, okay, so once we're in the CPS, what you'll want to do is go to hotkey, this section right here on the left, and you'll want to make a hotkey that looks just like this. So hotkey 1, we have it set to call. You can select the drop downs, then digital, and then here it's going to be that 4000, just like that. PC 4000, then in digi call type, it's going to be all call, just like that. So set that up the same, click OK, and now whatever hotkey you set that up for, go into your optional settings, and we'll go over here to key function, and now just make one of the keys activate that hotkey. So like PF3, for example, you could put PF3, which is that button on top. You press that, and then it will automatically switch it over for a brief second to the disconnect. So you can then key it up, it disconnects you, and then it will switch back just to normal operation. There you have it. Awesome. Let's see here. Do you need to be in VFO to make the talk group or contact active, or will this override the current memory if in memory mode? So you don't need to be in VFO necessarily to make to make a contact or anything like that. I may not fully understand your question here. If you select a new talk group while you're on a non-VFO channel, correct, you will override it. But if you're simply creating a new channel, you won't override anything. Hopefully that answers your question there. Cody, do you have your water? Absolutely, always. Gotta stay hydrated. Hydrate or dihydrate, as they say. Awesome. Let's see. How important is it to update your firmware? That's a great question. So the firmware on these radios is usually pretty stable. So if you're having good luck with yours, you're not having any trouble, I'd recommend just sticking with it. That's typically what we recommend. But if there's a new feature or you are running into some kind of problem, definitely get that updated. It's definitely worthwhile. That'd be my recommendation there. I typically leave it alone till there's something new I want, or I find something that's not working well. Let's see. Will there be any updated firmware for the 868? That's a good question. So the 868 it's actually, I think, been discontinued at this point. I don't think they make that radio anymore. It's a great little radio still, but it's a little bit outdated. The firmware, the last version on that was very stable, so I don't think they've had to release anymore. I'm sure they probably would if there was some big issue, but to my knowledge, there are no plans for updates on that at the time being. It seems like everything is tip-top with that radio. We haven't had any troubles with it. Awesome. Tom, let's see. Yes, my SkyBridge is plugged into AC. After proper disconnecting, do I need to unplug in order to bring up the SkyBridge again? Oh, I understand. Okay, so you have your SkyBridge plugged in, and you go into the menu and actually turn it off. How do you turn it back on? That's what you're asking. So, correct. You would just unplug that and then plug it back in, and you're going to be rocking and rolling again. Absolutely. Let's see, Andy, KF0EZV. Let's say you're traveling and forgot to disconnect from a talk group before you were out of range of the repeater. What happens? So if you didn't disconnect from a talk group before you leave the repeater, nothing bad's going to happen. You just won't be able to talk to it anymore. Really nothing happens. You're just going to be out of range of it. If you go to a new area with a new repeater, you'll be able to key back up. So nothing to worry about there. Not a problem at all. Let's see, Ray, 99 is just the talk group. Let's see, you can use it for any digital call frequencies or any other frequency that you want to use in digital mode. Okay, awesome. That some reference to a question we had earlier for 99. Awesome, that's good to hear. Thanks, Ray. Awesome. Here we go, John. What's the best way to back up the SkyBridge micro SD card? Good question. Yeah, so if you want to, we don't necessarily recommend doing this unless you know what you're doing. Basically on the SkyBridge here, you could take the SD card, pull it out, and plug that into your computer and basically just make a copy of it. If you don't know how to do it, I probably wouldn't recommend it because we have had some folks mess them up in the process, and that kind of defeats the purpose. But definitely, if you know what you're doing with it, definitely worthwhile. There are some videos on the internet. Just have a look for how to clone an SD card. That'd be your best option, and you just make a clone of it, and you'll be good to go. If you have another SD card, that'd probably be an awesome way to do it as well. Just make a clone of it. Okay, let's see. Will the HTs work with analog as well as digital mode? WB2DX. Absolutely, yeah, these are fantastic for analog as well. In fact, I use mine quite a bit for both. You can use digital, analog, 2 meter, 70 centimeter. It's awesome. Let's see. What is the latest CPS version? Let's take a look here. I believe I'm running the latest one, which is 2.04, but there may be, I think there's a later one than that that actually had some trouble. So we are recommending the latest one we have on our website is always the one I would recommend going with. If you go with, we actually test them, vet them, make sure they work well. Some other places just put them up straight away before testing them, and sometimes people run into issues. So that is what I would recommend. Just check our website, whatever the latest one we have. I wouldn't go any newer than that. Okay, let's see. Can the UV2 Plus be the only radio needed to track linear satellites in the 70 centimeter and 2 meter mode? So you're wanting to track satellites. I believe, theoretically, you might be able to. Typically, I would think you might want a radio with a little bit more power, but I've never actually done that before with satellites. That would be interesting to know if any folks here have tried that with this kind of radio. Is that even possible? That would be awesome to find out. I am not super familiar with that, but we'll get you the information. Certainly our tech guys would know exactly what you need for that. So give us a phone call, 816-532-8451, and we'll help you out with that. And for any of you folks out there wanting to get set up with EMR or with a radio, a Skybridge, anything like that, excuse me, I'd be happy to help you with it. I am available in the shop here. If you want me directly, you can contact me. My number is 636-465-6023. Again, that's 636-465-6023. And I'll be happy to help you with that stuff. And day or night, give me a call. I'll be there for you, or shoot me a text. And if you need help getting the radio, a DMR ID, anything like that, I'm here for you. So definitely. And then we have a great tech team that can help you out as well. Let's see here. Will there be any new equipment releases soon? That is a great question. I do believe there's some really cool stuff coming down the road. The one we can give a little bit of a teaser, the 578 mobile radio. We actually have a Bluetooth mic. Should be coming out maybe this summer sometime for that radio. It's got a big old screen, so all you folks who want a removable faceplate, it's actually going to fit the bill for that, and we'll make that radio usable so you can mount it almost anywhere. So really exciting stuff. We have some other cool things coming down the road. But yeah, thanks for the question. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell next to it to make sure you don't miss out on any more great content. That's all I have for you today. I'm Cody, W3AMG 73.